And he was in high school 1 week before his father discovered he had
No
started
one
high
was
school.
popping
Is this in
pasties
Italy?
off of there.
This is here.
This is here, okay.
This is here, because he was
Okay.
So missed
10,
that.
12
I'm
years
sorry.
old when he came here.
Okay.
So he finished
That's what
grade
made me
school,
think.
like
Okay.
8th grade.
He's
and
in
then,
high
and then he
school.
went to high
You
school.
missed
He was
that
there 1
one.
week.
Oh yeah.
And his father discovered he had started high school. He says, high school? What are you going to high school for? You're going to work. So that was it. That was the end of his high
You
school.
mean your dad didn't get to finish high school?
Nope.
No, he went 1 week.
1 week. Hope school.
Because I remember your dad.
He went to high school for 1 week.
I do
One
remember your
week.
dad.
1 week, and
1
his
week.
father
And then
said,
his father discovered he had enrolled in high school, and he pulled him out and put him to work.
unlike
What's the
our
point of that?
father, who in 8th grade was asked to leave high school or grammar school and not return.
On the same subject of gangsters, we had our clothing store on Roosevelt Road,
Oh, Grandma can tell you
and we
about
were
both
on
those.
the street level. You know, we had a double store with a big island showcase. It was a beautiful
The
store.
one in the middle of the block or the one on the corner? I only remember.
Yeah, well, it was right off the corner. Walgreens was on the corner, and we were next door.
And what street was it? What is this, on 12th?
Roosevelt and Kedzie.
Huh?
Yeah.
Roosevelt, 12th Street?
Yeah, yeah.
Roosevelt and Kedzie.
And
So what year are you
the
talking about?
Capone gang, there were like
20s,
apartments upstairs. That's the way they used to build them. The store and the apartments.
Well, just like
But
Joe
in the
Mama.
apartments,
What-
they were not. They
Mama,
were.
what year?
Huh?
What year are you talking about?
Same era.
30s?
30? 20?
No later than that.
30s. Mid 30s.
But instead of it renting the apartments to families, the Capone gang had their what they called their club rooms up there. And we'd come to work in the morning and we'd have these big showrooms, glass showrooms. There'd be bullet holes in it. And then we had a guy on the corner, I don't remember his name. He had a little lean-to, he sold newspapers, and he was, his customers didn't even stop. They drove by and he knew who read what paper. And he would hand them the paper and the customer would put the money in his hand and he'd be on his way. And the gang members used to eat in the same Carl's restaurant
Carl's? Yeah.
that we did. I wanted polite. Oh, Miss Hoffman, how are you?
And well dressed.
Take
Well-
their hat off?
Well dressed.
Oh, yes.
Did you dress them?
Sharpies.
And didn't they tell you that you needed to leave the restaurant when something was going to go
Something,
down?
yeah, something was
Oh,
brewing.
yeah. If they were gonna have another gang war, and they had information, they would clean out the restaurant. All the customers, you have to leave now. You get up and you had to get out, and you have the pictures of St. Valentine's
I
Day
have the picture
massacre.
of the St. Valentine's Day
And
massacre.
then they get in
Police
here.
photo.
The whole gang would be laying in blood.
His grandfather, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, his grandpa Whitey was a meter reader for the gas company. That was his beat. He walked right by there reading meters.
I have the photograph. My mother's
Oh,
aunt, Elsie.
Her husband was
Her
a policeman.
husband was a police officer in the 30s. I have an original photo of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Wow.
And it's not pretty.
No,
It's not pretty, kids.
But original from.
I have the photo, the original photo.
How cool is that?
police
do
photo,
have
a
it.
police photo.
And the original police photo, when they went in, an 8x10, they went in and they took photos. I have an 8x10 of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, and like I say, y'all, it is not pretty. There's,
You just yelled.
And that was Chicago in the 1940s.
that was some crazy stuff, man. They
Well,
like,
now-
my
But
mother
I'll
went
tell
to
you
school.
something else. You were safe on the streets. There were none of these little street gangs that would shoot a little kid going to school.
Yeah, that's. Now,
They never killed anybody who wasn't from
who
another
didn't
gang.
deserve it?
Huh?
Who didn't
Who
deserve
didn't
it?
deserve it?
Wasn't from a rival gang.
Well, Larry's father tried. Well, your grandpa worked for the Chicago Macaroni Company when they got here from Sicily.
Well, what they used
Yeah,
to do is one gang would try to take over territory, and then you can't do that. And you know what caused all this trouble? The do-gooders, prohibition. Because they used to take a truck and cross the border into Canada and fill it up with liquor.
It's good stuff.
Well, the way my family decided to go back into the grocery business after, or just before World War II, I guess, and through the war,
Yeah, they would
Is-
get from Canada.
is they were, my grandfather had gotten a job with the Chicago Macaroni Factory and become a
Speak
foreman
louder,
there.
so Grandma can-
Yes. And so he was the boss at the Chicago Macaroni Factory. So he put all of his sons, all 4 or 5 or whatever there were, to work.
That's
And-
why he couldn't go to school.
And they ended up knowing the entire business. They could basically run the whole factory.
Because your grandfather was a supervisor, he was
Yes.
a foreman.
And so this is during the Depression when no one had jobs. His whole family was working. And they were all turning the money into Papa.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They
So-
lived at home and they had to turn their paycheck over.
So
Betcha.
they were talking about and thinking and
they
saving
can
all the
turn
money
this
and thinking
paycheck
about maybe
over.
opening their own factory because this is a business they were learning in the United States and they thought it was a great market, a macaroni business. Well, another family
Macaroni, who would have thought?
the same idea and they were warned, don't go into competition with us. So they ignored that and they went out and they opened a factory and within a week it got blown up. So that was enough